A magnificent manor stands as a symbol of immense power. Onlookers praise Lady Quinn, a black-haired woman who smiles brightly. In a memory, a young blonde girl with red eyes summons a magical snowflake. A man's hand gently rests on the girl's head as he calls her his daughter, Quinn. She happily calls him father. The man, Quinn's father, smiles down at her with affection. His gentle smile turns sly as he asks what she would sacrifice for the family. Young Quinn, surrounded by flowers, beams with innocent joy. But her fate was sealed. The time to sacrifice everything had arrived. A foot steps onto a magical chain, descending toward a watching crowd. Now older, the prisoner Quinn Campbell is announced at the dueling grounds. A somber Quinn stands before the crowd, her hands bound in chains. A hooded man grabs her, demanding she kneel like a criminal. She furiously rejects his touch, yelling at him to stay away. Facing her family on a balcony, Quinn desperately asks if her father believes her. She proclaims her innocence, swearing a magic surge caused the incident. An older, gray-haired man roars for silence from the balcony. Marquise Abel Campbell, her father, coldly asks how many times she will disappoint him. Betrayed, Quinn listens as her father accuses her of using forbidden potions and states that her rare talent is the only thing sparing her. Her father's red eye glares down with cold indifference.
Quinn stares back in utter disbelief, unable to understand his words.
He reveals he will use forbidden arts to transfer her talent to Miserly, a blue-haired woman beside him. The blue-haired woman, Miserly Campbell, smugly tells her sister this is for the family's sake. The crowd murmurs. Some worry for Quinn, while others say she deserves it. Spectators mock the former genius, praising her father's decision to sacrifice her and preserve her talent for the family. Quinn realizes the people who once flattered her now wear ugly, mocking faces. She understands with dawning horror that everything, even her father's love, was a lie based on her talent. Her sister, Miserly, approaches with a triumphant smile. Miserly leans in, vowing to take Quinn's talent and her place as the family's favorite. Quinn glares, demanding to know what her sister has done. She accuses Miserly of orchestrating her downfall, and Miserly's smirk confirms her suspicions. Miserly confesses to poisoning Quinn out of jealousy, laughing that the rare talent will finally be hers. Quinn's eyes burn with furious resolve. With a defiant roar, she lunges at Miserly, screaming, "It will happen over her dead body." Gods sees her as she thrashes with incredible strength, vowing to kill her sister. She fights desperately, screaming for them to let her go. Miserly urges their father to extract the talent before Quinn takes her own life. The Marquis gives the final order for the mages to proceed. In her moment of despair, a system window activates before Quinn's eyes. A mission appears. Willingly gift her talent for a massive return. Confused, Quinn wonders if this is dark magic, questioning how she can profit by giving things away. Her first instinct is to refuse, believing death is better than surrendering her power. She glances at the sneering faces of the onlookers. Glaring at her father and sister, she realizes death is too easy for such hateful hypocrites. A man in the crowd suddenly shouts for them to stop. Miserly watches with suspicion, assuming Quinn is about to beg for mercy. Quinn clenches her bound fists, declaring her duty to House Campbell. With newfound determination, she announces she will surrender her talent voluntarily. As her father notes, this will make the transfer easier. Her father commands the mages to begin, ignoring Quinn's final cry. Miserly steps forward, confidently telling her father she will handle the transfer herself. As Miserly touches her,
she cruelly notes that willingly giving a talent is far more agonizing than having it torn away.
Miserly smiles cruelly, vowing to help her generous sister. A torrent of blue energy is ripped from Quinn's body. Ah! Quinn screams in agony, feeling her precious talent being torn away. Ha ha! Miserly laughs maniacally, reveling in the stolen power.
She delights in her new blue-tier talent, far stronger than her old one.
Drained of her magic and life force, Quinn finally collapses.
As she falls, a system window announces her reward, gold-tier talent.
Quinn is stunned, knowing a gold-tier mage is a near-legendary existence. Lying on the cold ground, she dismisses the impossible reward as a dying hallucination.
As her vision fades, she wonders if the falling snow is also an illusion.
Far away, a white-haired man senses the awakening of a new gold-tier talent.
A golden magical sigil hovers in the palm of his hand.
Sometime later, a maid kneels by Quinn's bed, mourning her poor mistress. Quinn awakens and weakly calls out to her crying maid, Layla. As Layla expresses her frantic relief, Quinn gently teases her about the tears. A concerned Layla helps the weakened Quinn sit up in bed. Layla angrily recounts Lady Miserly's cruelty, revealing she forbade any medical aid. Quinn asks if her father was the one who ordered her confinement. Layla tries to defend the Marquis, suggesting he was pressured by the clan. Quinn scoffs at the notion of being cherished, knowing her value was tied only to her talent. Suddenly, she remembers the system reward and wonders if it was truly real. Shaking, Quinn grabs her maiden in a desperate, overwhelming moment of realization. The full weight of her new reality hits her, and tears stream down her face. She reflects that her power now rivals that of Saint Cyril Jean, a legendary hero. A confident smile spreads across her face as she understands her new potential as an omni-mage. She asks for her wand, but Layla reveals Miserly confiscated it, deeming her powerless. Quinn smirks, cynically noting how thoughtful her family has been. Taking Layla's hand, she declares they're going shopping and leaves the manor. Quinn confidently strides outside, brushing off Layla's worries about her health. Their exit is blocked by a guard who bellows for them to halt. The guards mock her, stating the master forbids her from leaving now that she's no longer a genius. Layla furiously defends Quinn's honor, but a guard makes a lewd suggestion for their passage. The guard reaches out his hand toward the maid. Enraged, Quinn unleashes a maelstrom of ice crystals. The guards are stunned, questioning how a former fire mage is now using ice magic. She glares down at them, her voice cold as she declares she could kill them instantly. The terrified guards flee, begging for their lives, as Quinn notes they run toward Miserly's quarters. Layla is starstruck by her mistress's power, while Quinn realizes her sister is behind this. Clack! In her room, Ministerly opens a jewelry box as she hears a shocking report. She furiously demands to know how Quinn defeated her men without a wand or incantation. A guard presents his hand, crushed by ice, as proof of Quinn's power. A black-haired maid dismisses the useless guards on Miserly's behalf. Miserly fumes, wondering how Quinn is still so powerful, and vows to ensure she never rises again. Meanwhile, Quinn and Layla arrive at a bustling city marketplace. Quinn notes their tight funds and hopes to find a good deal. Zap! A sudden surge of magic resonance catches her by surprise. She realizes her new power lets her sense valuable elemental beast crystals nearby. Among the stones, she identifies a rare and powerful multi-elemental crystal. Layla unexpectedly takes charge, launching into a bizarre and aggressive haggling match with the vendor.
Layla's strange bargaining pays off, securing the valuable crystals as a stunned Quinn praises her hidden talent.
Quinn happily accepts the outing's success, but Layla calls the crystals worthless. Holding a glowing crystal, Quinn insists they are special, as a system window identifies it as a rare tri-element spirit beast crystal.
A hooded mage is shown as an explanation details the hierarchy of magical beasts and their powerful crystals. Quinn wistfully recalls never being allowed to use such rare crystals, even when she was the family's favorite. Whoosh! Quinn is suddenly startled by an approaching presence. A blond man, her cousin Carver Campbell, scoffs at her for scavenging and tells her not to buy trash. Quinn angrily retorts that she'll buy what she wants, declaring the crystals are hers. She joyfully imagines how her new gems will outshine any from an auction house. Carver glares down at her, sternly beginning to scold her. He condescendingly offers to buy her proper crystals, questioning why a noble is using such cheap items. Grabbing her arm, he's shocked when she asks if he came to mock her, vehemently denying he would stoop so low. He admits he only hated her former arrogance from being spoiled by the family. Carver dismisses her past as an archmage, claiming it's nothing compared to the strength he's gained in the monster forest. He confesses his newfound respect for her courage in sacrificing her talent for the family, vowing to have her back. As he passionately grabs her shoulders, Quinn nervously urges him to speak more quietly about defecting. Ignoring her plea, Carver grabs her wrist to take her to a real magic shop, prompting Layla's angry protest. The scene shifts to the magnificent, august Empire Royal Palace. Inside, the king questions Marquis Campbell's decision. King Hughes Albert asks if he would truly send Quinn to appease the Sterling Empire. The Marquis lies that Quinn wishes to atone for injuring a prince, privately resolving to extract her remaining value. In a flashback, Miserly suggests sending Quinn to suffer in the Sterling Empire. In the present, her father falsely claims Quinn renounced her magic to atone. Believing it is her wish, the king agrees to send Quinn away to prevent a war. Bang bang! Just then, a courtier bursts in, announcing the saint has returned. The saint recalls sensing a magical flare from the southeast, and the Marquis realizes the Campbell estate is in that direction, wondering if Miserly is the chosen one. The narration describes the legendary saint, the continent's only supreme gold-tier archmage. His name echoes through the hall. Cyril Jean. The handsome white-haired saint, Cyril Jean, makes his grand entrance. The king greets His Holiness, surprised by his premature return from slumber, as the saint's power is the empire's foundation. Cyril explains that he sensed something that couldn't be ignored. He reveals that another being capable of changing the empire's fate has emerged. As an image of Quinn appears, the king wonders if there is another chosen one. The story recounts the Great Magic Wars 600 years ago when the empire nearly fell. Cyril Jean appeared as a savior, declared the chosen one by prophecy, and becoming the empire's saint. In a vision of the past, the old king kneels, begging Cyril to become their saint and protector. The current king realizes this new chosen one could bring unprecedented glory to the empire. Cyril orders the king to find this person so he can train them, and the king asks how to identify them. The saint reveals he detected her magical signature flaring southeast of the palace. The king and the Marquis exchange a knowing glance at this new information. The Marquis inwardly connects the saint's words to Miserly's recent inheritance of a new talent. The saint insists he must see the person to confirm, but a sudden blast of pure ice magic fills the room. He notes the powerful ice magic, thinking it could help stabilize his wounds. Whoosh! A wave of energy rushes through the throne room. The saint clutches his chest, postponing the meeting due to a pressing matter.
After he leaves, the king chuckles, congratulating Marquis Campbell on his daughter's continued excellence. The king cancels the marriage alliance, declaring the saint's return makes appeasing the Sterling Empire unnecessary. The Marquis fumes, deciding to confine the now irrelevant Quinn at home while Miserly secures the saint's favor. Elsewhere, Carver enthusiastically leads Quinn to the capital's finest magic emporium. He asks why she's sweating, dismissing her condition as frailty, while she shyly tries to explain the real reason. Lila explodes, yanking Carver's ear and scolding him for manhandling her mistress, making him apologize for forgetting her condition. While Layla lectures him, Carver promises to buy Quinn whatever she wants, as Quinn watches with a smile. Quinn smiles warmly, touched by her cousin's earnest promise. Carver proudly declares that a Campbell heiress deserves the best, demanding the shopkeeper bring out his finest wand for Quinn while teasing her about her expensive tastes. The shopkeeper immediately offers 2 excellent mid-tier wands. The enthusiastic shopkeeper leads them into his emporium, asking them to see his wares. Spying from afar, a purple-haired woman wonders why she found Quinn with Carver, calling him a troublesome hothead. Deciding to tail them, she resolves to confirm whether Quinn can still wield magic. The shopkeeper presents a wand to Master Carver, explaining its simple appearance belies its premium Frostvine Dragonwood core, crafted to amplify spell effects. Carver is impressed and holds out the wand, asking Quinn for her opinion. Ding! A system window detects the Frostvine Dragonwood wand as a rebate item. Holding the wand, Quinn is thrilled to find another rebate item, realizing today's haul is phenomenal. A preview of the next episode shows a finger being pricked for a blood drop. As Carver bonds with a wand, he's shocked by the terrifying speed at which his magic is being drawn. A promotional banner for the series is shown. A system window explains that embedding the Spirit Beast crystal will upgrade the wand's quality and increase the rebate coefficient to 9. Quinn realizes a higher coefficient means even better rewards. Carver is stunned by the wand's exorbitant price of 99,999 gold coins, but Quinn just laughs with delight. Seeing Quinn's rare enthusiasm, a blushing Carver agrees to buy the pricey wand, noting its durability will be worth it once a crystal is embedded. Click! Quinn excitedly embeds the bright blue crystal into the new wand, startling Carver. As Carver reels in shock, Quinn calmly tells him to relax while the wand transforms in a spectacular burst of magical energy. A close-up shows a hand gripping the newly transformed ornate wand. Whoosh! The wand unleashes a potent wave of magical energy, shocking Layla, Carver, and the shopkeeper, who realizes no ordinary crystal could produce such power. The shopkeeper wonders if Lady Quinn used an ultra-rare Spirit Beast crystal, exclaiming he's only ever seen archmages wield crystals of such quality. Carver observes the magic's 3 colors, representing a triple elemental affinity, and notes with surprise that it faintly resonates with him. Ding! Quinn smiles confidently as a system window confirms the successful embedding, upgrading the wand to high tier and raising the rebate coefficient to 9. Now holding a high-tier wand, she eagerly anticipates the reward, wondering if it could be a divine tier item. Carver marvels at her unreal luck in finding a Spirit Beast crystal, telling her the wand's power has skyrocketed, and she asks if he likes it. Quinn generously offers him the wand, but Carver vehemently refuses, shocked by the invaluable gift. She insists he take it,
inwardly giddy with excitement that gifting the wand will trigger the system to reward her with the divine wand she craves.
Carver argues that the wand could help her recover her strength, but Quinn demands he take it, insisting that is how he can help her.
Pushing the wand into his hands, she tells him refusing is an insult, while he meekly questions if he, a clumsy family outcast, deserves such a gift. Ding, as he accepts, a system window announces the gift mission is complete, granting her a 9,000-fold rebate, a divine tier wand, and an omni-element divine beast crystal. Bathed in a gentle glow, Carver is moved, wondering how he never noticed Quinn's selflessness before. Kneeling before her, Carver swears that abandoning her is the family's worst mistake and that he will revere her like the saint for life, prompting Quinn to nervously urge him to get up before people think he's signing a slave contract.
Carver channels his magic, preparing to bond with his powerful new wand.
Power surges him as he completes the bond with the high-tier wand. The shopkeeper watches in awe, honored to witness a high-tier wand bond, as Quinn notes her enhanced mental power lets her clearly sense Carver's magic.
Phew, Carver exhales, feeling his new power, while Quinn internally notes he's already a fourth circle archmage, just one step from magister. Blushing, Carver asks to be excused for an urgent matter, and Quinn encourages him to go consolidate his new power.
He tells the shopkeeper to put anything his sister wants on his tab today, but Quinn politely declines, saying she's good for now.
Quinn suddenly feels an intense chill, wondering if an ice artifact is nearby. She recalls how her body would burn when her fire magic plateaued, and how soothing ice crystals were in her bath back then. Deciding to grab one while she's here, she approaches a case of glowing blue crystals and asks the shopkeeper for a price. A preview of the next episode shows her being accosted by a purple-haired woman crying out in shock as her clothing is torn.
A promotional image for the series is displayed, showing Quinn with the white-haired saint. Suddenly, Miserly grabs the ice crystal from the case, declaring that it's hers.
Miserly smirks, telling the now useless Quinn to stop dreaming of using magic.
Slap. Quinn's hand catches Miserly's wrist before it can touch the crystal.
Quinna! Miserly recoils in shock, enraged that her sister dared to hit her.
Quinn coldly states that Miserly, having never been disciplined, should be taught a lesson, while Miserly resolves to teach Quinn that she is now the family's darling.
Miserly taps the counter and addresses the boss, stating that buying what one desires isn't robbery if the price is right, and asks him to pack up the 20 crystal stones in the bag for her.
Miserly warns the shopkeeper to be careful, claiming the Campbell family will no longer pay for the valueless Quinn's purchases. Onlookers begin to gossip about the Campbell ladies quarreling, noting Quinn's fall from grace, as Quinn realizes many people want to take advantage of her misfortune. Quinn declares she must take action for the family's reputation, summoning her maid, Layla. The purple-haired woman scoffs, wondering if Quinn intends to use magic against her. Slap. Quinn announces she'll pay 30 crystal stones, proclaiming the power of money. As a bidding war erupts, the purple-haired woman desperately shouts a bid of 60 crystal stones, while Quinn watches calmly.
Quinn feigns worry, realizing she didn't bring that many stones with her today. The purple-haired woman gloats that Quinn is now trash, thinking the expense is worth the public embarrassment.
Quinn interrupts, offering a high-level fire magic ring as an exchange for the crystal. The purple-haired woman is enraged, recognizing a ring she coveted that was given to Quinn instead. The shopkeeper declares the item now belongs to Lady Quinn. Quinn smiles sweetly, telling her sister that what she desires is easily within her own reach. Ding! A system window identifies the crystal as a flying frost stone with a high return coefficient, and Quinn realizes she must gift this powerful item. Click. Confident she can get it and give it away, Quinn presents the stone in a box.
A mysterious white-haired man appears behind her, and she looks up in surprise.
Quinn worries that the noble-looking man might not accept her casually offered gift.
Ding! A system window announces the gifting task is complete with a massive reward, but it's immediately withdrawn as the task failed, shocking Quinn.
Quinn desperately begs the man to accept her gift, and ding! A new notification confirms the task is complete and rewards have been earned. The white-haired man accepts, noting that while the girl is odd, the stone's coldness can heal his injuries. He offers his own magic ring oddly and suggests a blood contract, but Quinn frantically refuses.
A burst of magical energy erupts from his hand, startling both Quinn and the purple-haired woman.
Quinn feels her own magic react, wondering about the incredible power of his ring. The white-haired man senses the distinct aura of a gold talent. He confirms she is from House Campbell, realizing she is the one destined to influence the Empire's future.
The purple-haired woman observes, wondering which noble family he belongs to and deciding to introduce herself.
She quickly cuts in, offering her own ice attribute beast crystal to the man.
He curtly dismisses her offer as unnecessary, leaving her stunned and rejected.
Turning back to Quinn, he entrusts Oddly to her, promising they will meet again before vanishing. Quinn is left blushing and speechless by the sudden, intense encounter. She reflects on the chaotic fire magic she sensed within him, marveling at his composure before dismissing it as imagination.
The purple-haired woman glares at the ring now in Quinn's possession, her face contorted with jealousy. Fuming over Quinn's good fortune, she resolves to have their father punish her and storms off toward the Campbell estate.
Back at the Campbell estate, Layla cheerfully welcomes Quinn home.
Layla offers to prepare refreshments, but Quinn dismisses her, saying she needs solitude.
As Layla leaves, the door clicks shut, leaving Quinn alone in her chambers.
With a determined look, Quinn decides it's time to examine her new divine tier wand. She summons the magnificent wand, glad to finally be away from prying eyes.
Holding the wand, she anticipates the immense power it will have when paired with divine beast crystals. As the wand merges with her essence, she feels an unreal surge of power. A complex magical array forms as she channels her power through the new wand. She casts Frost Coalescence, conjuring massive shards of ice from thin air.
Next, she unleashes Meteor Shower, summoning a torrent of flames.
With a smile, she casts Earthbind, sending crackles of purple energy through the ground.
Finally, she casts Transmutation, creating a shower of gold coins and jewels. Surrounded by riches, she acknowledges the risk of channeling so much mana, but feels confident. Her confidence wavers as she realizes her mana is beginning to spiral out of control. A massive explosion of energy erupts from her, cracking the walls of the room. Layla bursts in, calling out for her mistress in a panic. Sitting in the wreckage, Quinn sheepishly blames a strong gust of wind for the mess, much to Layla's disbelief.
Layla points to the hole in the roof, calling it a flimsy excuse, and Quinn nervously asks if it was that obvious.
A steely resolve settles over Quinn's features. Elsewhere in the Campbell parlor, Miserly seethes over Quinn's audacity and vows to have their father punish her. She angrily confronts a maid for blocking her way, but stops, her expressions shifting as she senses something amiss. The woman with dark purple hair watches in awe as royal enforcers march by. In a preview, Miserly angrily warns Carver to know his place before their father.
Carver coldly retorts, questioning if his bastard birth forbids him from speaking the truth. Miserly returns home to find imperial law enforcers and asks her father what's happening. He reveals a chest full of rewards for her from the king.
Looking at the gifts, Miserly wonders if this means the king agreed to send Quinn for a marriage alliance.
Her father says the marriage plan failed, but Miserly protests, not wanting to see Quinn again. He dismisses her concerns, stating her own future is more important. He announces that the saint wants to meet her, a meeting that could shape the empire's future, leaving Miserly utterly stunned. Miserly beams with excitement, realizing that gaining the favor of the most powerful man in the empire will finally make Quinn look up to her.
She seeks confirmation from her father, who assures her it's true and that the jewels are a sign of the king's high regard for the meeting.
A blonde woman in a blue gown watches in confusion, wondering why the king is suddenly rewarding Miserly.
Miserly turns and glares menacingly at the blonde woman in the background.
Quinn tells her father she prefers her sister's magic ring over the royal jewels and demands he make her give it up.
The clan head commands Quinn to give her ring to Miserly, dismissing it as a mid-tier item now that Miserly is favored by the king and the saint.
Feigning disgust, Quinn refuses to give Miserly second-hand goods, secretly regretting she hadn't bonded with the ring herself.
Miserly snaps back, pointing out that the shabby ring is clearly an advanced magical item.
Carver suddenly appears, intervening to ask Miserly if she's so poor she has to steal Quinn's ring. Miserly orders Carver to know his place, but he retorts that his bastard status doesn't stop him from speaking the truth, adding that neither of them can match Quinn's former noble status.
Carver cruelly reminds Miserly that without Quinn's sacrifice, she'd still be a fool with only intermediate magic, leaving her speechless with rage.
The clan head declares with a tear in his eye that Quinn's selfless choice made her the family's hero, and disrespect will not be tolerated. Miserly protests, but her father agrees with Carver, stating that no one will forget Quinn's sacrifice. The clan head dismisses the conflict as mere playing, easily fooling a naive Carver, and asks why he suddenly visited. Carver explains he came to thank Quinn for the beast crystal, which helped him immensely. He excitedly reveals the crystal helped him jump 8 levels to become a magister, shocking Miserly and her father. Quinn smiles and congratulates Carver, who gives all the credit to her crystal.
The clan head addresses Quinn fondly as his dear daughter, much to her delight.
He sternly questions Quinn about the powerful spirit beast crystal she never mentioned. She claims it was a coincidence, and she didn't know its value. Miserly interrupts, accusing Quinn of lying and deliberately withholding treasures from their father and family.
Quinn worries as she sees her father's suspicion growing, realizing she must resolve his doubts quickly.
Shh! A rustling sound from the bushes grabs their attention.
A young boy with brown hair and mismatched eyes emerges from the foliage.
Overwhelmed, Quinn suddenly clutches her chest and starts coughing violently. Quinn faints as Carver rushes forward to catch her. As Carver holds her, Quinn weakly explains she has been fainting as a side effect of giving up her talent. She continues her performance, saying she snuck out to buy magical items but was kicked out of her room without any money. With tears in her eyes, Quinn explains she could only afford a cheap crystal and wishes she had known her father wanted it so she could have given it to him instead.
The clan head remains silent, internally frustrated that Quinn's words are making him look like a villain.
Carver looks on with a heavy heart, blaming himself for taking the crystal and causing trouble for Quinn.
He kneels before the clan head, offering to take any punishment in Quinn's place because she is too frail. Carver offers to surrender his bonded wand, and Miserly scoffs that while useless to others, it's a fitting gesture.
Pah! In a shocking move, the clan head slaps Miserly across the face.
He helps Carver to his feet, reassuring him that no one will be punished, as they both did well.
The clan head praises Carver for becoming a magus at 22, declaring him the family's future and promising their full support. A grateful Carver vows to live up to the clan head's high expectations. The clan head then turns to Quinn, reaffirming that the family will never forget her great sacrifice. He tells Quinn her room is being repaired and she'll move back soon. She agrees, knowing he won't risk alienating the new magus. As Quinn takes her leave, Carver offers to escort her back.
The clan head watches them go, his expression stern and unreadable.
Miserly confronts her father, demanding to know why he didn't punish the defiant Carver.
Her father scolds her for her foolishness, asking if she wants to antagonize a promising magus and earn a bad reputation. He berates Miserly for not being half as clever as Quinn, leaving her utterly shocked and ashamed.
The clan head muses on using a wand to secure Carver's loyalty and considers Quinn's potential uses. The clan head warns Miserly not to provoke Quinn and to focus on her own training. He orders her to learn etiquette, and she promises to obey while he laments raising an outsider. Miserly furiously blames Quinn for the scolding, vowing to ruin her completely. Achoo! Walking in a garden, Quinn sneezes, and Carver asks if she's sick. Carver insists she's weak and offers to train her himself, an idea Quinn finds horrifying. A rustling in the bushes startles them, and they investigate the sound. Whoosh! A figure bursts from the bushes, startling a shocked Quinn. A scrawny child with mismatched eyes emerges, leaving Quinn bewildered by his presence. Carver stands protectively before Quinn, shocked by the sudden appearance of the strange boy. Quinn stares intently, her senses on high alert as she processes the scene. A vision of Carver walking away into a serene, butterfly-filled meadow appears. The image transitions to a striking, white-haired man with golden eyes. Carver confronts the young boy, who silently kneels before him. Carver explains the boy is Asa, their uncle's recently acknowledged illegitimate son, whose mother has a poor reputation. Carver sheepishly admits he tried greeting Asa, but the boy remains wary and silent. Quinn contemplates the situation, thinking that Asa seems like a strange child. The next day, Layla excitedly announces that Quinn's father has ordered their return. While Layla sees it as proof of his care, Quinn knows her father's concern is merely a ploy to secure Carver's loyalty. Wary of Miserly's spies among the servants, Quinn resolves to practice her magic in secret. Sighing, Quinn decides it's time to finally examine the glowing magic ring. She focuses her mind, determined to uncover the secrets held within the mysterious ring. Whoosh! She's suddenly transported into a lush world within the ring, shocked by its internal dimension. She realizes this is no ordinary ring. Mages cannot normally enter their storage spaces. Amazed, she discovers the space is a miniature world with magic even purer than her own. She finds potion ingredients cultivated by a previous owner, wondering who would give away such a treasure. Her thoughts turn to the one who gave her this incredible gift, Cyril. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves as she enjoys the serene atmosphere of the ring's world. The sudden feeling leaves her looking around in confusion. She ponders the immense power required to create such a world, questioning if it's truly possible. Suddenly, an angry voice accuses her of trespassing, demanding she leave at once. Snapped back to her room, Quinn calls out to Layla, asking about the commotion.
Layla bursts in, holding a struggling Asa, whom she caught climbing into the room. Quinn recognizes him instantly. Quinn orders Layla to release the boy, revealing he is her cousin, which shocks the maid. Released abruptly, Asa stumbles and falls to the ground.
Quinn questions Asa's presence, but he evasively claims he was just passing by.
Unconvinced, Quinn sternly waits for the truth, knowing she can't help him if he lies.
In a glimpse of the future, Quinn corrects someone's improper nightly salute. She then declares that the person is currently too weak to serve as her knight. A cute promotional drawing teases the upcoming events. Asa confirms he needs her help, and Quinn states she already knew, as their encounters are no coincidence. He worries he won't be able to persuade her, fearing she will dismiss him like everyone else.
Desperate, he realizes he's out of time to save his mother and resolves to try anything.
Stealing his resolve, Asa formally takes Quinn's hand, preparing to make his plea. He presents a blue crystal, triggering a system mission for Quinn. Activate the Skygrief crystal. Quinn is stunned, recognizing the priceless top-tier water crystal and wondering how Asa possesses it. A scale of temptation appears as she weighs the valuable crystal against her feelings.
Asa offers her the crystal, calling it his only valuable possession, and appealing to her kindness.
He desperately begs her to save his sick mother, promising future riches in return.
Quinn, seeing his stubborn devotion, asks why he didn't seek help from the ever-kind Carver instead.
Quinn calmly analyzes the situation, concluding the boy is too broke to help her, while he meekly agrees. The boy explains he's trying to protect his mother from the nasty rumors that would spread if a young man helped her. Quinn smiles, impressed that the boy, Asa, is more considerate than most adults. Her expression grows serious as his mother's illness reminds her of a painful memory from her own childhood.
A faint memory surfaces of a blonde-haired woman coughing weakly in bed.
A young Quinn is seen at her mother's side, calling out to her. Asa grows desperate, thinking he'll be rejected and resolving to give up anything, even his own life, to save his mother. Thud! He drops to his knees, begging Lady Quinn to save his mother and pledging his eternal loyalty. He stares up at her in utter shock, questioning her silence.
Quinn notes his pledge is a knight's vow, but tells him he's not yet strong enough to be her knight.
She smiles, adding that she's patient and will teach him how to become a true knight. Slowly.
Quinn orders Layla to immediately send for a physician to treat Asa's mother, and the maid rushes to obey.
Asa cries with relief, thanking Lady Quinn profusely and swearing to repay her for helping someone as lowly as him.
She comforts him, explaining that his name, Asa, means God's gift, and that he'll always be his mother's treasure.
Overwhelmed by her kindness, Asa looks up at her with tears in his eyes.
Ding! A system alert warns that her mission deadline is approaching, and she panics, realizing she must give the Skygrief crystal to someone.
She eyes Asa, who suddenly appears with adorable wolf ears and a tail, as the perfect candidate.
Activating a crystal ring, she points at the bewildered boy and declares, "You're the one."
Ah! A powerful surge of energy courses through Asa, causing him to cry out in pain.
A preview of the next episode shows a hand casting vine bind with a wand.
Whoosh! Thick green vines erupt from the ground, ensnaring a small, panicked yellow creature. The maid reports to Quinn that the physician is expected to arrive in the afternoon.
Layla cries out in alarm, asking Quinn what she is doing and warning that the boy can't withstand such intense magic.
Quinn remains steadfast, reminding Asa that if he can't endure this pain, he'll never be strong enough to be her knight.
Gritting his teeth through the pain, Asa resolves to become stronger so he can protect his mother. He stands defiantly within a fiery magic circle, his will hardening. Quinn smiles, pleasantly surprised to discover he's a rare dual-element mage with gold and fire affinities. Thud. Asa suddenly collapses as Layla screams his name in terror. Pat, Quinn catches him, calmly telling Layla not to fret, as he's just overwhelmed by the magic and needs rest.
Lila looks confused as Quinn explains that this wasn't an act of cruelty and that not everyone deserves her blind compassion.
With a determined gaze, Quinn states that she must test the resolve of those who follow her, for naive kindness invites betrayal.
Layla watches her mistress, realizing she has changed, but believing it might be for the best.
A small, sad, turnip-like creature with blue leaves floats within a glowing magical seal.
Quinn smiles, suddenly remembering the system rebate as she reaches for the strange creature. As she holds the unconscious Asa, she looks on in confusion as the creature suddenly vanishes.
Ah!
The creature screams as it flies across the room, startling both Quinn and Layla. Crash! The screaming creature smashes right through the window.
Holding a new wand, Quinn glares in annoyance, complaining about the creature's deafening shriek.
Raising her wand, she casts Emerald Vine's Bind over a complex magic circle. Whoosh! Countless green vines burst forth, filling the room with magical energy. The vines quickly entangle the creature as Quinn identifies it as a 200-year-old frost-bound harmony grass, noting it's too noisy to keep around. Smiling, she holds the bound and squirming herb, deciding to stash it somewhere. The scene shifts to the august imperial palace, where the white-haired man enters his chambers. He pauses thoughtfully, noticing that his ring, oddly, is reacting to something. He materializes in a forest, looking down at his royal crest with a questioning expression.
Ah! The little harmony grass creature appears at his feet, looking just as startled as he is.
He picks up the impossibly rare herb, wondering how she found it and why she placed it inside his ring.
He recalls his ring's unique abilities and a past connection from 6 centuries ago. Realizing this strange gift-giving feels familiar. A flashback shows him at the Holy Temple 600 years ago, where fan signs thank the kind, hot saint for saving August.
He smiles, concluding the harmony grass must be another gift from her, and acknowledging that his injuries require such herbs.
A white-haired boy vows to repay his debt. In a preview, guards block Asa, ordering him to scram. Quinn arrives, icily asking who dares defy her command.
As Asa sleeps, Quinn is unaware her gifted herb is gone.
He wakes up, surprised to see Miss Quinn watching over him. She warmly invites him to call her sister, promising help.
Asa's eyes sparkle with renewed hope at her words.
He suddenly realizes the excruciating pain he felt is gone. Quinn explains he's absorbed the Heaven's Tear crystal's power. He looks at his hand, questioning the changes he feels. A fiery aura erupts around him, leaving him stunned. He asks in disbelief if he can use magic, and Quinn confirms it. Asa recalls his past poverty, realizing the immense value of her gift. Overwhelmed with gratitude, he embraces Quinn, overjoyed he can now use magic. Quinn comforts him, telling him his happiness is what matters. Whoosh! Lila bursts in, reporting that guards are blocking their path. Lila explains that the Fourth Lord has prohibited all visits. Both Quinn and Asa recognize the Fourth Lord as their uncle and father.
Asa rushes toward the residence, only to be stopped by armed guards.
He confronts the guards, who refuse to let him pass on the Fourth Lord's orders.
Quinn's intimidating presence makes the guards reconsider defying her.
With a single word, she commands the guards to move aside.
She walks forward with grim determination.
Her fourth uncle appears, questioning her presence.
Quinn explains she brought a physician, but he coldly dismisses her help.
Asa furiously accuses his father of lying about his mother's health.
The fourth uncle belittles Quinn for her lost talent and reckless behavior.
He dismisses her interference and orders her to leave immediately.
Asa defies his father, demanding treatment for his mother, but is called a liar.
The fourth uncle orders his men to seize Asa and lock him away.
Quinn realizes her uncle's vile nature is driven by greed. A flashback shows Asa rushing to get Quinn's attention earlier.
Lila recounts the rumor that the Fourth Lord abandoned his family for a wealthy widow.
The Fourth Lord must sever ties with Asa to secure his new marriage.
A flame ignites in Quinn's hand as she resolves to intervene.
Asa screams for his mother as the guards drag him away.
He unleashes a powerful blast of magic, shouting for them to get out of his way.
The fourth uncle stares in shock, sensing intense magic from his supposedly talentless son. Asa shoves past the physician and runs into the house as his father shouts his name. The fourth uncle tries to stop Quinn, telling her it's none of her business.
Quinn smirks, revealing Asa is now a dual attribute Azure Tier prodigy.
The fourth uncle is stunned, realizing his once scorned son is now a powerful mage.
Quinn lectures him on Asa's immense value, warning him to treat his son well.
Her uncle glares, his expression a mask of fury and shock.
Asa reaches his mother's bedside as the physician heals her. His ailing mother weakly calls out his name. She asks why he's crying, and he reassures her that help has arrived.
She gently touches his face, promising to recover for him.
The scene makes Quinn reflect on her own mother's death and her loneliness. With Quinn's help, Asa's mother thanks the doctor for her improving health.
Layla reports that since Asa's Azure Tier talent was revealed, he's been paraded as the new heir.
Crediting Quinn, Layla notes Asa's gratitude, but Quinn insists his own strength saved him.
Quinn resolves to improve her own power and heads toward the Campbell family's Magic Artifacts Pavilion.
She enters the grand sixth-floor pavilion, where the rarest artifacts are kept on the highest levels.
A group of young men gossip about her, wondering why the disgraced eldest miss would show her face.
Quinn sadly reflects that where she once had free access, her mere presence now draws stares.
She heads for the stairs, knowing the scroll she needs is in a restricted area upstairs.
A blue-haired woman stops her, asking why Sister Quinn is there. Miserly taunts Quinn for still dreaming of magic as a failure, but Quinn coldly rebuffs her. Quinn's expression turns sharp as she senses Miserly's growing power. As Quinn notes her sister's strengthening magic, Miserly boasts of her rapid growth as a Tier 2 Archmage. The gossiping men overhear and praise the second Miss's awe-inspiring Azure Tier talent. Quinn lectures Miserly that talent is a duty, not something to boast about, leaving her sister stunned. Smirking, Quinn reminds Miserly she's using her stolen talent, while Miserly seethes at her audacity. Quinn dismisses her as tasteless and walks away, ignoring Miserly's furious accusations of cowardice. Miserly claims Quinn always saw her as a threat, but Quinn stops, questioning the word thorn. With a disarming smile, Quinn tells Miserly she was never considered an obstacle. She walks away, thinking only of leaving the family,
leaving Miserly behind in stunned silence.
Reaching the top floor, Quinn determines the scroll she seeks is on the 6th level.
Holding the scroll, she reaffirms her plan to conceal her golden tier talent until she can escape. Miserly watches from the bottom of the stairs as Quinn walks away. Fuming at being ignored, Miserly vows to make Quinn pay for underestimating her and begins casting a spell. She unleashes her attack, shouting, "Elven Dirge," as a magic circle erupts with blue flames. Quinn turns in alarm as the powerful spell surges toward her. The library is filled with the swirling blue energy of Miserly's attack, engulfing Quinn. Annoyed, Quinn realizes Miserly's attack has accidentally triggered the scroll's defensive restriction, complicating things. Her mana is drained by the scroll's power, and she fears her talent could be permanently damaged. A mysterious voice advises her not to resist, and she looks around, asking, "Who's there?" She turns in shock to find the white-haired man has appeared behind her, his hand on her shoulder. Magical energy swirls around them as flowers bloom in the foreground. He reveals he's the man from the magic shop and tells her to relax and feel the mana flow. Quinn internally scoffs at his advice, believing it will only get her drained dry. He gently takes her hand, promising she'll be safe and urging her to trust him. Whoosh! Quinn is stunned as the magical suction weakens, suspecting it's his doing. He explains the scroll's rebounding restriction, revealing he was the one who originally placed it there. He instructs her to redirect the scroll's power and absorb it, which she does with determination. Whoosh! A massive surge of mana floods her body, causing her strength to skyrocket instantly. The scroll falls to the floor as the overwhelming power settles within her. She stares at her hand in disbelief, having absorbed the power of a restricted Campbell scroll. He tells her the ordeal is over and she must rest, as she realizes his power is beyond comprehension. She tentatively asks if he is "Your Holiness," and he smiles, confirming her sharp perception. Stunned, she asks why he's there, suddenly recalling her father mentioning his visit. Recalling her father intended for Miserly to meet His Holiness, Quinn smirks, amused by the irony. He asks with disinterest who Miserly is, clearly having no memory of the name. Quinn explains that the palace said he requested Miserly because of her Azure tier talent. He dismisses Azure tier talent as unworthy of his attention, clarifying who he truly came for. Was her. Quinn stares back, utterly shocked. The sound of approaching footsteps echoes through the pavilion. The fourth lord barges in, berating a servant who explains a noise was heard from the restricted top floor. He spots Quinn questioning her presence, and she greets her fourth uncle. Quinn calmly denies any commotion, stating nothing happened. The servant apologizes as Quinn thinks the panic has ruined her mood for the ball. She begrudgingly decides to cover for Miserly to protect His Holiness's secret. Holding the scroll, she smiles, thinking Cyril is surprisingly easy to talk to. In a flashback, she asks His Excellency if he truly came just for her. He corrects her, introducing himself as Cyril Jean and asking her to just call him Cyril. Quinn beams with hopeful anticipation. A chibi memory shows Cyril bluntly telling her that her golden tier talent alone isn't enough. Back in the conversation, she asks how he knew she possessed golden tier talent. He poses a simple question in return. What does she think golden tier means?
She listens intently as he begins to explain its significance.
An ancient legend speaks of the first holy swordsman, a golden tier talent who destroyed a nation.
Golden tier talents are legendary, including an enigmatic witch and Cyril himself,
who all became supreme archmages.
Quinn smiles, finally grasping the true weight of her potential. Cyril warns her that such a talent is not merely a blessing.
He explains it will make her a target for entire nations, a prize to be coveted or destroyed.
Quinn realizes the immense danger she'll face if her secret is ever revealed. She boldly asks if he will accept her when she becomes stronger.
He agrees, setting the condition that she must first reach the 9th-tier Archmage level.
Quinn eagerly accepts the challenge and cheekily asks for gifts, suggesting he wouldn't leave his provisional disciple defenseless with scrolls or artifacts.
She holds out her hand, proposing that investing in a clever disciple is a fair trade.
He smiles, amused by her clever provisional disciple proposition. Cyril reveals the divine tier ring oddly connects them, allowing him to appear at her side anytime, which makes Quinn realize how he arrived so quickly and why the herbs didn't trigger her rebate system. She tearfully realizes the high-grade herbs belong to His Holiness Cyril, which is why her rebate system won't work on them. He offers her an advanced magic scroll, explaining that her rapid growth benefits him as well. She holds the powerful scroll, feeling its overwhelming fire magic could incinerate her soul.
He departs in a flash of light, promising to return when she's a 9th-tier Archmage.
Clutching the scroll, she resolves to grow strong enough to become his disciple and escape her family.
She begins practicing in a garden, surrounded by swirling blue magical energy. Deciding to give him something in return, she looks for the frost bloom herb she stored away. She stops short, confused to find the herb is already gone. She fumes, realizing he simply took it himself, which infuriates her despite her intention to gift it.
Elsewhere, a defeated Miserly huddles in a corner, cursing her failure.
She panics, thinking Quinn must be dead, but then reassures herself that her father will protect his only Azure-tier daughter if there's an investigation.
Her father appears, sternly asking Miserly why she's hiding there.
She nervously asks if his sudden appearance is because of Quinn.
He asks if Quinn caused trouble, and Miserly quickly denies it, realizing he knows nothing about the ambush and is creating a cover story.
He orders her to fix her appearance and accompany him to meet her aunt, the family's only Archmage.
A vision of a powerful woman in a witch's hat appears as Miserly recalls her aunt is the strongest in the family.
Miserly smirks, scheming to win her powerful aunt's favor, to secure her own status and crush Quinn. The scene shifts to the vast Campbell family combat training grounds. Quinn arrives, noting that nearly all of the family's younger generation has gathered.
Asa and a blonde boy named Carver run toward her, happy to see her.
Asa explains he feels awkward about meeting their aunt, but hopes to impress her to enter the royal palace. Carver excitedly tells Asa their aunt is one of only 10 archmages in the Empire, the strongest combat force. Carver asks Quinn if she remembers their aunt, and she replies that she rarely saw the constantly traveling woman. Quinn privately reflects that the family only began fawning over her aunt, Sevalia, after she became an archmage. Seeing Miserly approach, Quinn decides the training ground is the perfect place to teach her a lesson for the earlier ambush. Miserly glares, enraged that Quinn is unharmed and ready for revenge, vowing to ruin her plans. Miserly's father arrives with his entourage, announcing their arrival to the waiting crowd. A thought bubble reveals their aunt has arrived, as Miserly stares ahead with a serious expression. From behind, Quinn observes a woman in a red dress, realizing this must be the Campbell family's strongest member. Surrounded by roses, the woman in red, Sevalia, greets her family, her body radiating an explosive power. Sevalia announces she will test their abilities, leaving Miserly and the others confused and questioning the strange meeting location.
Her father confronts Sevalia, reminding her they were only supposed to meet briefly, but she dismisses his concerns, having already made her decision.
Sevalia smirks, curious about the juniors from a family that steals talents, and warns anyone afraid of injury to leave immediately. The juniors react with a mix of shock and excitement at the prospect of fighting an archmage, as Sevalia grins and begins to cast a spell from a massive magic circle. She unleashes her attack, Dance of the Flame Dragon, sending a torrent of fire toward the terrified juniors.
The powerful flames engulf the training ground, throwing Carver, Asa, and Miserly backward as Miserly notes the incredibly fast casting speed.
Flames whip around Quinn as she braces for impact. Her protective cloak is shredded by the fiery blast, and she stares in shock, realizing it was destroyed in a single hit. Other family members are sent flying, crying out in pain and surrendering, as Miserly realizes Sevalia took most of them out in one move. Sevalia notes with surprise that not everyone is down, as Miserly's father angrily thinks she's a madwoman trying to maim them.
Fine, I'll knock you out one by one, Sevalia declares with a menacing grin as a man shouts for her not to dare touch his son.
Sevalia effortlessly defeats another woman with a fiery strike, prompting Miserly to realize she fights more like a warrior than an archmage.
With a high kick and a cheerful nighty-night, she knocks out a blonde man as Carver gasps that his aunt is amazing.
Sevalia appears behind a startled Miserly, ordering her to surrender quietly. Whoosh! Miserly reacts instantly, dodging a fiery attack, surprised by its speed. Sevalia looks on with curiosity, asking if she dodged, while Miserly curses, thinking a cripple shouldn't be able to react so fast. Declaring no exceptions, Sevalia unleashes a massive wave of fire, telling Miserly she's done. Quinn realizes her spiritual sense can track the attack, but she decides to take the hit head-on to avoid revealing her true power. A massive explosion of fire completely engulfs Quinn. Whoosh! The fiery vortex rages.
Sevalia looks on in confusion, wondering what's happening.
Carver and Asa leap in front of Quinn, vowing to protect her from the flames.
Quinn looks on, utterly bewildered by their sudden intervention. As they start to pull her away, she smiles helplessly, thinking she just wanted this farce to be over. The trio flees from the pursuing flames as Quinn wonders how the situation escalated so quickly. Quinn pleads with Asa and Carver to put her down, insisting she'll only slow them. Carver shouts that she's his cousin and urges her to hurry as Sevalia's spells gain on them. Sevalia watches them flee, noting that Quinn's brothers are rushing to shield her while she hides her true strength. Sevalia's eyes glow with fury as she identifies the fleeing girl as Miserly, the one who stole the Azure Tier talent. Believing the scheming girl deserves a beating, Sevalia intensifies her fiery assault, sending multiple flame tendrils after the group. A stray blast hits Miserly, shattering the magic barrier she hastily summoned, as her father and another man praise her remarkable progress. Miserly fumes, jealous that Quinn is once again stealing her spotlight and making their father proud, and vows to humiliate her. Crash! A fiery blast sends Carver flying into a wall as Quinn and Asa cry out his name. Asa turns in rage to face an oncoming attack, his eyes glowing. After Asa is also defeated, Sevalia turns her attention to the remaining Quinn and Miserly, declaring that Miserly is next. Quinn feels a twinge of guilt, but thinks to herself that with Asa and the others out of the way, the situation is now ideal.
Whoosh! A swirl of blue magic suddenly appears on the ground.
Crash! Quinn deflects a shard of ice, wondering what's happening.
Savelia asks who it is, as Miserly steps forward with a glowing artifact, claiming her magic went out of control. Quinn stands warily as blue energy crackles around her feet, while Miserly offers a fake warning to be careful. As the uncontrolled mana surges around Quinn, she recognizes its wild nature.
Quinn smirks, identifying the crude tracking spell, and realizing it's the perfect opportunity to teach Miserly a lesson as she gathers her own blue energy.
Whoosh! The blue energy swirls into a powerful spell. Miserly thinks the spell's energy is strong enough to shatter Quinn's bones.
Miserly smirks victoriously, thinking she layered a tracking spell, so Quinn has no chance of dodging.
Miserly is shocked to see Savelia has suddenly appeared directly in the path of her spell.
Boom! A massive explosion of blue energy erupts where Savelia intercepted the attack.
Miserly's father furiously confronts her, demanding to know what stupidity she's committed, leaving her stammering in shock.
Miserly calmly tells the worried boys not to panic.
From the dissipating blast, Savelia thinks she isn't so easily injured. She glares down at Miserly and orders her to get out. Miserly looks up, utterly bewildered by her aunt's reaction.
Miserly begins to cry, feigning innocence and claiming her magic just went wild.
Savelia furiously berates Miserly's pitiful skill and lack of control, threatening to throw her out as Miserly stammers in fear.
Miserly flinches away, pleading for her aunt not to hit her. Quinn smirks, confident Miserly's pride has been thoroughly crushed.
Savelia suddenly appears before Quinn, accusing her of deliberately hiding behind her.
A diagram shows Savelia intentionally stepping in front of Quinn as she smirks. She reveals she saw through Quinn's plan to eliminate a rival, leaving Quinn stunned. The tense standoff continues in silence. Quinn tries to play dumb, claiming she was only panicking. Savelia calls her bluff, seeing right through the lie and challenging her again. As Savelia vows to defeat her, Quinn wonders why her aunt is so determined. Her father allows the fight, thinking Quinn can entertain Savelia for a while.
Asa suddenly runs forward, shouting, "No!" to stop the fight.
He protests that a fight between an archmage and a magicless Quinn is unfair, offering to fight instead.
Savelia finds this impossible, remembering she sensed a faint magical fluctuation from Quinn.
Carver confirms that Quinn sacrificed her Azure Tier talent, which completely shocks Savelia. Savelia furiously grabs Quinn, realizing she's the one who was forced to give up her talent. It all clicks for Savelia, who now understands how Quinn dodged without magic.
Whoa! Her cousins and brother all shout in utter shock at the revelation.
When her brother objects, Savelia asserts her privilege to choose who she brings to the palace. Savelia dismisses the importance of innate talent, championing hard-earned power instead. A flashback reveals Savelia was once ostracized for abandoning magic to pursue the warrior's path, a path typically overshadowed by mages. She gambled everything, forging a unique fusion of combat arts and magic to achieve extraordinary power. As her father continues to argue, Quinn thinks accepting the royal opportunity would only make her a target. Quinn shocks them both by formally refusing to go to the palace. With a worried expression, she anxiously touches the brooch on her dress. Quinn begins to walk away, but Savelia calls out for her to wait.
Sevilla pleads with her to reconsider the priceless opportunity, but Quinn coldly refuses. Sevilla reassures her that true strength isn't just magic, but effort and spiritual power. Sevilla passionately offers to train her into a saint warrior, but as Quinn thinks of an excuse, her rebate system activates, giving her an idea. Seeing a new path forward, Quinn smirks, thinking she has another option. She puts on an innocent and hopeful expression.
Quinn presents the powerful fire scroll, offering it as a gift since it's now useless to her.
Sevilla is stunned, recognizing the scroll as a royal artifact and demanding to know how Quinn got it.
Quinn panics, realizing she has no way to explain possessing a treasure from the royal archives. She nervously holds the glowing scroll in her hands.
Her thoughts turn to the one who gave it to her, as a vision of Cyril appears. Sevilla stares in disbelief, recognizing him as His Holiness. The scene shifts to the quiet interior of Quinn's room. Quinn reflects on her plans being exposed sooner than expected, as a flashback shows Sevilla respectfully greeting His Holiness.
In the flashback, Sevilla cautiously asks Cyril why he gifted such a treasure to their family. Cyril clarifies the scroll was a personal gift to Quinn because he values her, leaving Sevilla stunned. Flustered, Quinn frantically denies that their relationship is a romantic one.
She struggles to find the right words to explain her connection to Cyril.
Cyril watches her fumbling explanation with a stern, unreadable gaze.
Sevilla recalls hearing His Holiness was seeking a golden-tier disciple and suddenly understands everything.
A flashback shows a younger Quinn peacefully holding a glowing orb of light.
With a hardened gaze, she vows to never endure that torment again.
Sevilla thinks Quinn must now convince her to keep this secret, but then reassures the girl that she won't be betrayed. In a flashback, a furious Sevilla storms through a grand hall, raging internally about her family's cruel tradition of forcing juniors to sacrifice their talent and how they neglected Quinn. Her father appears, calling her a reckless fool for her outburst, which she finds outrageous. Sevilla explains she argued with them all morning, stating that even barbaric families aren't so cruel. Sevilla asks Quinn why she can no longer sense the magic she felt during their fight. Quinn admits she's also wondered, explaining that her attempts at concealment magic went unnoticed by everyone. Cyril appears and explains that a masking trait called Audrey's effect hides her magic from anyone below the Archmage tier. Sevilla has a sudden realization, connecting the magic ring and the advanced scroll to His Holiness's clear favoritism of Quinn. As Cyril innocently asks why, Quinn panics internally, realizing she's aroused their suspicions and lost her rebate. Cyril tosses the scroll back, stating Quinn must have her reasons for gifting it. Sevilla accepts the scroll, surprised it's for her, and thinking she's hit the jackpot with such a high-tier item. Sevilla vows to forge Quinn into steel, but Quinn anxiously thinks she isn't a warrior. Quinn firmly rejects the offer, telling her aunt to give up. A tense silence follows her refusal. Smiling, Quinn thinks that at least Lament is gifted, as she prepares to check her rebate reward. A notification confirms a 100,000x return, a divine tier light attribute scroll, shocking Quinn. Overwhelmed by its power, Quinn decides the scroll suits Cyril better and wonders if the rebate system is obsessed with him. Cyril suddenly appears behind her, asking if she's obsessed with him, startling her. Quinn nervously asks where Sevilla is, explaining that her aunt loved the scroll and left to practice immediately. Cyril offers to find her another scroll, but Quinn is perplexed by his lack of curiosity about the powerful magic surge she's holding.
wondering if long life makes one indifferent to mysteries.
A sly smile crosses her face as she thinks she might be able to exploit his indifference.
She offers the powerful scroll to a confused Cyril.
Taking the scroll, he realizes with a start that it was the source of the magical surge.
Quinn simply smiles, telling him what matters is that the scroll is now his. They stand facing each other in the quiet, sunlit hall. Cyril looks at her intently, asking if she's asking for his protection. He finds the request amusing, noting that no one has ever dared ask that of him. With a serene expression, he refuses, stating his duty is to the Empire, not to individuals. Quinn remains resolute, unfazed by his rejection.
He corners her, asking if she isn't afraid he'll simply kill her and take the scroll. She coolly challenges him, asking if he's sure this is her only card.
She confidently states that the person who can produce a divine scroll is more valuable than the scroll itself.
Cyril corrects her, revealing there are nearly 20 such scrolls, and he already owns 9, leaving Quinn stunned at his immense power and realizing why he was so dismissive.
Quinn revises her proposal. He keeps the scroll in exchange for guaranteeing her personal safety.
Cyril seems intrigued by her offer and asks what she thinks his answer will be.
She excitedly asks for his promise, thinking that trading system rewards for a Saint Archmage's guidance is a great deal. As she beams with hope, he stands stoically, holding the scroll.
The scene shifts to the family garden, where Savelia calls out to Quinn.
Savelia enthusiastically announces that the saint has given his permission for her to begin improving Quinn's stamina. Quinn reacts with pure horror at the thought of physical training. While Quinn internally curses Cyril for being a fox who pawned her off on his aunt to get her scroll, Savelia points at Quinn and agrees that Cyril is an old fox. As Savelia declares they will begin their rigorous training, Quinn protests that she is a mage who doesn't need stamina.
Savelia argues that physical strength is vital for mages and that Quinn must surpass a warrior to enter the central magic city.
Quinn listens intently to her aunt's words.
Savelia bluntly tells Quinn that she's too weak, explaining that great power allows one to defy even kingdoms. She reveals that the most powerful mages created a central magic city to protect ordinary people, a place only a true magus can enter. With newfound determination in her eyes, Quinn resolves that she must see this city.
Savelia promises to take her there when she's ready and grabs her, announcing it's the perfect time to start. Quinn reluctantly agrees.
Savelia decides to test the trial realm fragment given by the saint, surprising Quinn, who didn't know Cyril had given it.
Whoa! Quinn cries out as she is suddenly sucked into a swirling vortex of blue energy from a crystal on the ground. The crystal's energy swirls and then vanishes. Gasp! Quinn finds herself in a strange dimension, wondering where her aunt has gone.
She realizes the trial realm fragment must have activated.
Deciding to be cautious, she resolves to scout ahead without using magic.
A long, grand hallway suddenly appears before her.
Memories flood back of her family demanding she sacrifice her talent for their sake, a vision she immediately questions. Her father's voice echoes, ordering her to surrender her golden talent.
Horrified, she wonders if she is about to repeat history.
She looks up and sees another person has appeared in the illusion.
Flash! Suddenly, Savelia and Cyril appear, with Savelia demanding to know why the saint is there.
Cyril confirms the trial has begun, and Savelia explains Quinn is facing her greatest psychological obstacle. Cyril watches intently,
eager to see Quinn Campbell's true potential. Overwhelmed, Quinn clutches her head in pain. In her vision, a woman with purple hair gleefully declares that Quinn's talent and glory will all belong to her. Bound in chains, she defiantly thinks she is no longer the helpless girl she once was. With a surge of power, she shatters the illusionary chains. She vows to never submit to anyone ever again. Summoning a staff, she unleashes a powerful wind blade, striking down her tormentors. The nightmare vision begins to shatter and fade. As the vision fades, Cyril appears behind her.
She turns and calls out his name, Cyril.
Her eyes widen in fear as she asks if he also wants to take everything from her.
Wreathed in menacing energy, he declares he will now take her golden talent and the rebate system. She cries out in agony, wondering why everyone she trusts has betrayed her.
She gasps for air, clutching her throat in pain. Savalia urges Cyril to save Quinn, but he stops her, much to her confusion.
He reassures Savalia, confident that Quinn's potential is strong enough to overcome this.
Suddenly, she realizes she never told Cyril about the system, so how does he know? It makes no sense. Cyril already has a golden talent. She realizes she's forgetting something crucial. Recalling how her aunt brought her to the trial realm, she connects the pieces and realizes this is all an illusion before snapping back to reality. She faces the illusion and calmly declares, "You're not the real Cyril."
The illusion's face cracks and peels away, revealing a dark form beneath it, as he says, "I knew it."
A monstrous puppet lunges forward to attack.
She swiftly dodges its powerful strike. Realizing a protection mechanism has been triggered, she summons her staff, knowing the puppet holds a fraction of Cyril's power.
With a confident smile and a magic circle forming behind her, she declares she won't hold back.
Knowing the puppet has a fraction of the Empire's strongest mage's power, she prepares a powerful spell, refusing to underestimate it.
A confident glint in her eye, she thinks her next move might just work. Savalia is shocked by the sheer number of premium frost shard stones, and Cyril confirms there are about 1,000 of them.
Cyril realizes in shock she plans to use them all at once, something Quinn admits she's never attempted.
She believes that with the power of 1,000 frost shards, even an archmage can be suppressed.
Thinking it's the perfect chance for a test, she unleashes a torrent of ice energy at the puppet.
Fearing the intense cold, Cyril moves to intervene, conjuring a fiery shield to protect them. The overwhelming force of her ice spell engulfs the puppet.
Crack! The puppet shatters into pieces under the immense pressure.
Suddenly, a golden ribbon of light wraps around her hand. The light pulls her forward, and she finds herself caught in Cyril's arms. They share an intense, silent moment, standing close together. Savalia explains that Quinn's insane power nearly destroyed the realm, then asks what she saw in her nightmare. Flustered, Quinn buries her blushing face in Cyril's chest, suddenly realizing her position.
Quinn angrily accuses Cyril of watching her during the illusion, but he looks confused. He explains the nightmare was a necessary test for the trial realm, offering a lukewarm compliment.
A hand channels glowing energy through a complex magic circle, activating the realm.
They arrive in a magical forest, with Cyril announcing this is the real trial realm.
Looking around, Quinn thinks she's never trained in a place like this before. Savalia announces a month of training and places magic suppression cuffs on a confused Quinn. To her shock, Quinn finds she can't sense her magic at all. Savalia smiles, pleased. As a red magic circle flares, Savelia announces the training's start, summoning a great wolf and phoenix.
Terrified, Quinn asks if she's supposed to fight the beasts alone, lamenting her exhaustion.
Savelia says she's not that cruel. Quinn feels relieved until her aunt declares that survival is the day's goal.
Go! Savelia orders her monstrous pets to attack.
Ah! Quinn screams as the direwolf lunges, barely dodging the attack.
The fiery phoenix swoops down on her nest. Cornered by both beasts, she wonders if this is training or a death match.
The fearsome wolf and phoenix circle her menacingly.
Gasping for breath, she realizes her stamina is fading fast and decides to split their focus.
A powerful force slices through the air as the phoenix dives.
Startled, Quinn takes cover behind a large tree.
The phoenix unleashes a ferocious, fiery screech.
Roar! She narrowly avoids the wolf's jaws, getting swiped in the process.
Cyril notes her lucky escape, but Savelia insists it was more than just luck. He watches her face the direwolf, impressed by her extraordinary courage and adaptability.
She leaps onto the dire wolf's head, thinking the pain of her attack should enrage it. Grabbing its ears, she reasons that rage is a great beast's biggest weakness.
Roar! As the beast thrashes, she wishes she could use magic to control it. The wolf's paw glows with ice magic, surprising Quinn, who notes her taming spell is still working.
Cyril wonders if her magic is truly suppressed as Quinn orders the wolf to attack the phoenix.
She struggles to hang on as the wolf charges the fiery bird. The beasts violently clash in a flurry of energy. The wolf and phoenix become locked in a swirling vortex of ice and fire.
Savelia commands her pets to retreat, leaving a confused Quinn standing alone.
Quinn asks if she passed, and Savelia agrees, but warns daily drills will begin tomorrow for her pathetic physique. Eagerly, Quinn asks when she'll be able to beat the wolf. Savelia promises she'll crush it by the end.
Back in her room, Quinn rubs her sore neck, sighing that becoming a warrior is no joke. She wonders if she can find some pain relief magic in the arcane vault.
Cyril suddenly appears, telling her to come with him. He gestures for her to follow him.
Taking her hand, he envelops them both in a swirl of golden light.
They arrive before a massive, ornate door glowing with divine power.
Cyril summons a ball of golden magic to open the way. Inside a vast library, he reveals that he founded the Royal Archives 600 years ago.
Questioning him, Quinn recalls the direwolf's sudden ice power during their fight.
Cyril reveals that despite her suppressed magic, she summoned primordial force to control the wolf. He explains how mages normally use their bodies and tools as conduits for magic.
At magic's core, he continues, is primordial essence, which powerful mages can summon directly.
He holds up a scroll containing an ancient mage's notes.
Looking at her cuffed wrist, Quinn realizes she must have summoned primordial force by accident.
Cyril hands her the ancient scroll to study.
He confirms her theory, explaining that those who wield primordial force transcend archmages and approach godhood.
Quinn realizes that with her omni-elemental magic, she is already close to commanding all powers.
Cyril confesses that his connection to primordial force vanished after a great war centuries ago. He tells Quinn he sees new hope in her, believing her unique talents can unlock ascension. Quinn looks up at Cyril, a moment of profound significance passing between them. She realizes that for an ancient archmage like Cyril, the only goal left is achieving divinity. Quinn proposes a deal.
Her aunt will train her body by day, while she studies magic here by night.
With a gentle smile, Cyril thinks to himself that her talent and spirit are truly remarkable. Later, surrounded by scrolls, Quinn is amazed that Cyril holds her in such high regard. Studying a glowing scroll, she reflects on her potential as an omni-elemental mage. She muses that with enough power, all of creation could become a tool at her command. Impressed, she notes that even random scrolls from the saint's collection contain advanced magic.
Clutching a scroll, she vows to seize this priceless opportunity and grow stronger quickly.
2 small birds fly past a sunlit window, marking the quiet passage of time. Exhausted from her studies, Quinn's head droops as she begins to doze off.
A magic wand casts a spell, and Quinn murmurs thoughtfully as she continues her magical research.
Lost in thought, she rests her chin on her hand, contemplating the ancient texts before her.
Cyril appears and notes she is studying celestial cleansing light. A flustered Quinn realizes it is already dawn.
"Let's go," she says cheerfully, asking him to teleport her so she can report to her aunt.
Annoyed, Cyril thinks she orders him around so naturally, while she cheekily claims she's just basking in his radiance.
Taking her hand, he simply says, "Come." A swirl of golden energy envelops them as he begins to teleport her away. Awed by the convenience, she asks if she can learn teleportation to visit the archives alone. He tells her access to the palace is restricted, but promises to personally instruct her after she's recognized by the emperor.
Acceptable, she agrees, thinking the emperor will learn of her golden aptitudes soon enough. They arrive outside a grand, ornate door, their destination reached.
She glances back at him, confused and wondering why he hasn't left yet. He gently takes her hand in his, causing her to blush deeply. Flustered, she quickly bids him farewell, promising to see him tonight before turning to leave.
Thump! In her haste, she runs straight into the door, as Cyril watches in silence.
Cyril's voice explains that for body tempering, one must consciously avoid using magic.
Back in the forest, Sevelia explains the magic cuffs have multiple purposes. Quinn confidently declares she is ready.
Sevelia smirks, cryptically asking who she thinks they're letting out, leaving Quinn confused.
Unfurling a massive scroll, Sevelia reveals a comprehensive training plan, starting with weighted running, much to Quinn's dismay. Quinn stares in wide-eyed shock at the announcement.
Sevelia reminds her that the restraints have other functions as Quinn looks down at her glowing cuffs.
Squelch! Red energy flares from her cuffs and ankles as their power activates.
Straining against an immense weight, she realizes the restraints have become incredibly heavy.
Sevelia tells her to start running, promising to wait at the finish line. Weighed down by powerful magic, Quinn struggles to take even a single step forward.
Panting heavily, she marvels at her aunt's speed and resolves to catch up.
Elsewhere, a gray-haired man complains about Sevelia willfully bringing the magicless Quinn into the palace.
A purple-haired woman named Miserly seethes with jealousy, wondering what gives Quinn the right to her aunt's favor.
The gray-haired man confronts Miserly, asking if she understands why she falls short of Quinn.
Crack! He angrily grabs his daughter Miserly, yelling that her mind is too chaotic and she's been neglecting her studies.
Looking downcast, a defeated Miserly can only stammer,
Her father confines her to her room for study, which she reluctantly accepts.
Miserly's eyes burn with hatred. She vows to make Quinn, her inner demon, disappear completely.
In her room, servants present Miserly with premium potions and scrolls from her father for her studies.
Spat! A servant flinches as if struck.
The servant recoils in fear,
from an unseen force. Miserly grinds her foot on the servant's head, accusingly asking if he's mocking her, while he begs for mercy. Miserly screams that everyone is mocking her, believing her father's gifts are a reprimand for being inferior to Quinn. A dark energy erupts as her terrified servants scream for their lives. Back in the forest, Quinn grimaces as her magic suppression cuffs glow with red energy.
Sevilla asks how her physical training is going. Quinn admits she feels slightly better than yesterday. A montage shows her new life, meditating by day, studying by night, and constant training. Touching her cheek, she reflects on her exhausting schedule, amazed she hasn't collapsed yet. Sevilla knowingly states she must have been healed, having sensed the Holy Sun's aura on her.
Quinn looks shocked by the revelation.
She thinks of Cyril, contemplating the strange, unfamiliar feeling he gives her. Sevilla encourages Quinn not to disappoint the Holy Sun, who values her potential. Quinn resolves to do her best as the scene shifts to an auction house a few days later.
An auctioneer presents the night's finale, an intermediate-grade light affinity scroll starting at 500 crystal stones. As bids quickly rise, Miserly looks on with contempt, thinking the auction is full of worthless junk. A man in the crowd takes offense at her comment, wondering who she is. He recognizes her as Miss Miserly Campbell, but she dismisses him with a cold, "So what?"
As others recognize her, Miserly scoffs that such a scroll would just be used to prop up tables in her family. Deciding to leave, she notices a mysterious cloaked figure standing behind her. The cloaked figure addresses her by name. Miserly coolly asks for their identity.
The woman, named Lavina, says her name is unimportant and that she has a gift. Miserly scoffs at the offer, but Lavina agrees that such low-tier auctions only attract mediocre mages.
Lavina presents a scroll that pulses with intense magic, shocking Miserly with its resonance.
The gift is revealed to be a powerful, high-grade wood affinity scroll.
Suspicious, Miserly demands to know why Lavina is helping her and what she wants. Lavina claims the entire city whispers that Miserly is destined to be the Holy Sun's chosen apprentice.
A flashback shows her father confirming her meeting with the Holy Sun and presenting her with royal gifts, fueling Miserly's belief that she has already been chosen.
Lavina explains her master wishes to befriend the Holy Sun and invites Miserly to join them for tea. The scene shifts to the elegant and moonlit Nightingale Manor. A woman in a witch's hat arrives at the grand estate. In a swirl of golden energy, Cyril appears, asking why he was summoned so urgently. The witch gestures for him to sit, offering items from her personal collection to help heal his wounds.
The witch, with long pink hair, calls out to her old friend, Cyril.
A sudden, swift motion slices through the air.
She playfully asks Cyril if 6 centuries of slumber made him forget his old friend.
She is formally introduced as Avi Voss, the Witch of the Woods. Avi explains she gathered treasures for him upon learning of his awakening, but he tells her not to bother, as he will soon return to his slumber.
Avi mentions she has heard the realm-wide rumors about him taking a female disciple.
She reveals she sensed a new golden talent nearby and asks if it was his disciple. He quietly confirms.
Avi asks to meet the disciple, but Cyril says she is not yet worthy, thinking, perhaps someday, as he recalls his time with Quinn.
Cyril smiles fondly, a look of quiet confidence on his face. He offers her a precious frost-bloom herb, but she hesitates to accept such a valuable gift. She eventually accepts with thanks and prepares to depart.
Wait,
She stops him, desperately asking who the disciple is and what she looks like. He turns away, stating that a golden talent concerns the fate of the nation, and questioning if she would truly guard such secrets against him. Avi persists, noting his unprecedented interest in a woman, and wondering if the disciple is too exalted for her to even meet. He coldly clarifies that only talent and wit interest him, nothing more.
As he teleports away in a flash of gold, she cries out for him to hold on.
Damn it! She unleashes a furious blast of magic where he just stood. Clenching her fists, she wonders why he won't spare her a moment, lamenting that she, too, is one of the 3 golden talents. She reaches out as he vanishes, despairing that he always turns his back, and she can never walk beside him. The question lingers over a crowd of followers. Why? Returning to the shadows, Avi reports to her master that she has returned. Kneeling, Lavina reports that Miserly Campbell agreed to a meeting. Her master, the witch Avi, questions Miserly's easy consent.
Lavina admits her doubts, calling Miserly dull and arrogant.
Avi muses that Cyril himself confirmed the disciple as a Campbell and decides to verify it personally. She gives her order, send a carriage for Miserly in 2 days. Avi then adds that they must first test Miserly's capabilities, to which Lavina agrees.
Avi plots to eliminate Miserly if she's mediocre and to prevent her from maturing if she shows promise.
The scene shifts to the royal archives under a moonlit sky. Yawn. Inside, a weary Quinn complains about being so tired. But rubbing her eyes, she steels her resolve. With Cyril nearby, she thinks she can't possibly slack off. Cyril notices her struggle and asks if she's having trouble. A foxy idea begins to form in her mind.
Quinn explains that an ancient text details the different paths for mages, asking Cyril for more information.
He dismissively notes that her aunt is a warrior, a path needing no explanation. He then lectures on saint healers, potion masters, and rune mages. The lesson continues, noting elusive rune mages create high-grade wands. Quinn contemplates the different magical paths presented to her. Cyril mentions legendary warlocks who can alter fate, hiding in the central magic city. Quinn realizes this is the 2nd time she's heard of the dangerous and exclusive city. Cyril correctly guesses that her aunt, Sevalia, must have mentioned it. She sighs in disappointment, accepting that visiting is a distant goal. Cyril turns to her, stating that he's curious about something.
He looks down, preparing to ask her a serious question.
He asks what her ultimate goal for strength is. Cringing at the memory, Quinn declares she wants to single-handedly kill the giant wolf. She immediately worries he will find her goal arrogant. To her surprise, he simply says, "Good." Touched by his trust, she basks in the feeling of being supported. Changing the subject, she mentions finding many rare herbs in the training forest. She offers the herbs to him, asking if the trial ground is his territory. He tells her she can keep them. A faint, pleased smile crosses Cyril's lips. Quinn internally celebrates, realizing the trial forest is unclaimed and ripe for collecting system rebates. Cyril watches her with a thoughtful and knowing gaze. She nervously brushes off his stare, unable to reveal her system's secret. Cyril advises her to focus on becoming an archmage first and announces it's time to send her back. Agreeing, she stretches her stiff body with a groan. With big, hopeful eyes, she sweetly asks her future master for another healing spell. She flashes him a charming and expectant smile. He agrees, stating that supporting her is reasonable and extends a glowing hand. A gentle, golden light descends as his hand hovers over her head. Closing her eyes, she savors the magic,
feeling as if he's gently caressing her. As her fatigue vanishes, she finds herself wanting more of the sensation. Help! She panics, realizing her thoughts about the Holy Sun are blasphemous.
He asks her how she feels, his expression warm and focused.
Fully refreshed, she reports that she feels much better now.
A small white fox suddenly appears, leaving her completely baffled.
Cyril explains it's his original spell to materialize a beloved animal, which she can summon for healing. Holding the adorable fox, she wonders about the Holy Sun's peculiar tastes. A soft light envelops Cyril as he looks on with quiet satisfaction. Quinn wildly connects the fox to herself, concluding that Cyril must like her before dismissing the idea. Blushing, she decides the Holy Sun is simply an unconscious flirt. Crack! The scene shifts to the Campbell parlor, where Miserly's father slams his fist down, forbidding her from leaving. Miserly argues it's a rare opportunity, but her father furiously warns her it's a trap that could cost her life. Miserly convinces herself she is needed to connect with the Holy Sun and therefore won't be harmed. Her father shuts down the discussion, revealing his own plan. He will take her to the Crown Prince's birthday banquet. Miserly is thrilled at the chance to attend court instead of Quinn, hoping to solidify her apprenticeship with the Holy Sun there. As Miserly smugly anticipates a public announcement, her father cautiously orders her to learn court etiquette to avoid embarrassment. Miserly informs a new servant that she will now be her lady's maid, and her father instructs her to teach the maid manners. The new maid, identified as Marlene, respectfully accepts her post. An instructor sternly tells Miserly to focus on etiquette training and avoid distractions. Miserly internally fumes over her father's cowardice. Frustrated, he's preventing her from meeting the mysterious patron with advanced scrolls. Marlene offers to help Miserly meet the patron. Miserly suspiciously asks if she's her father's spy, which Marlene denies. Miserly agrees to test her loyalty, unaware Marlene is only scheming to gain riches by siding with the family's favored daughter. Ha! The scene shifts back to Quinn at the trial grounds, channeling energy into her fist. She unleashes a powerful punch, cleanly splitting a large tree in two. Sevilla applauds her strength, but sternly questions if she was permitted to use magic. Quinn reveals her glowing cuffs, explaining she only used magic to protect her hands, not to augment the strike. Sevilla calls her silver-tongued, as Quinn reflects on her strategy to build a martial foundation for synergistic magic. She smugly concludes that she isn't cheating, merely using an optimized methodology. Impressed, Sevilla declares she's passed the day's trial and offers her a day off the following week. Quinn stares back, completely baffled by the offer of a day off. Sevilla elegantly presents an invitation, revealing she's been invited to the Crown Prince's birthday banquet. Quinn listens thoughtfully as she learns about the upcoming royal event. Sevilla gives a political briefing, contrasting the mediocre Crown Prince with his powerful archmage brother, the fourth prince. Sevilla explains the banquet will be extravagant, and Quinn realizes it's a perfect opportunity for gathering gossip. Sevilla teasingly offers to take her along, causing a flustered Quinn to protest. It's settled, Sevilla declares, deciding that bringing Quinn will make the tedious banquet bearable. Quinn panics, realizing such a high-profile event is completely unsuitable for her current situation. The next day, the maid Marlene watches from the shadows with a determined look. Marlene tells a cloaked Miserly that the coast is clear and she will provide a cover story. A nervous Miserly warns they'll both be doomed if caught, which Marlene calmly accepts. In her cloak, Miserly walks down a cobblestone street toward a humble, covered wagon. Miserly scoffs in disgust at the broken-down carriage sent for an honored guest.
Her cloaked escort apologizes for the haste and asks her to endure the crude transport. Miserly haughtily threatens that they won't dare neglect her once she is the saint's apprentice. With a sinister smile, the driver promises that her master will entertain Miserly properly. The carriage proceeds down a dark path, venturing deep into an ominous forest. Miserly jolts awake inside the carriage, confused about where she is and why she fell asleep. Impatient and angry, she stands and yells, demanding to know how much longer the journey will be. As a crow flies overhead, Miserly demands to know where her master is.
Whoosh! A sudden blast of green magic erupts from the trees, catching her by surprise.
Roar! A terrifying beast formed of pure energy attacks the carriage.
Thrown from the wreckage, Miserly furiously demands to know who is attacking her and why. Lavina stands over her, mocking her weakness and questioning if she is truly the saint's chosen. Shocked by the betrayal, Miserly demands to know who sent her. Another woman's staff strikes her hand, knocking her own weapon away. A powerful woman with pinkish hair appears, declaring Miserly is unworthy of even knowing who she is. Miserly trembles in terror, completely overwhelmed by the woman's immense magical power. As the woman looks on disdainfully, Lavina confirms there is another Campbell girl, but they dismiss her as an irrelevant former talent. Avi realizes Cyril must have meant the other Campbell girl. Lavina understands with dawning horror that the true disciple must be Quinn. Disgusted, Avi declares Miserly is not the one and turns to leave. Miserly sees with jealousy, wondering why the untalented Quinn gets everything. Desperate, Miserly calls out, offering to help them. Her offer piques Avi's interest, who turns with a curious smile. Miserly claims to know the person they're after, sensing their deep interest. Avi scoffs, questioning why she should believe Miserly's offer of help. Miserly passionately declares she knows Quinn best and vows to defeat her for the spotlight. Intrigued by Miserly's burning ambition, Avi finds the situation interesting. Avi accepts the partnership, but warns Miserly not to disappoint her. As payment for the information, Avi tosses Miserly a glowing magic scroll. Avi sternly warns that the weak are unworthy of being her allies. Left alone, Avi contemplates the name she's just learned, Quinn. Clutching the powerful spell scroll, Miserly is sure she's made the right choice. The scene shifts to the moonlit Campbell residence. Inside, Quinn and her maid walk down a grand corridor. Quinn pauses, spotting a mysterious cloaked figure in the hallway. Quinn asks her maid Layla about the figure, but Layla dismisses it as a servant and urges her to rest. Back in her room, Quinn realizes the cloaked person was heading toward Miserly's bedroom and resolves to stay vigilant. She rests, enveloped in a gentle, green healing light.
Cyril's magical white fox appears, giving a playful wink.
The fox channels a powerful healing spell surrounding Quinn in its energy. Zing! She feels completely refreshed and amazing. She gently asks the little fox to stay and keep her company.
The fox sits with an aloof air, making Quinn giggle that its icy personality perfectly suits Cyril.
She ponders Cyril's fondness for foxes, an image of him smiling filling her thoughts. Lost in thought, she softly whispers his name. Startled, she jerks up as Cyril's voice answers her call. He suddenly appears in her room, asking if she needed him. Flustered, Quinn mentions the palace visit, but Cyril reveals he's there to personally invite her to the crown prince's banquet.
Stunned, she clarifies if the invitation is for her alone, not the Campbell family.
She understands the king wants to meet the saint's disciple, not a Campbell daughter.
She asks Cyril if this banquet means her status will be officially recognized.
He confirms that the king himself will grant her free access to the palace.
Quinn realizes this is her chance to finally escape her family's control.
Her excitement fades as she remembers her wardrobe is full of outdated dresses unsuitable for a royal banquet.
Cyril overhears her dilemma and offers his assistance.
The scene transitions to the outside of a lavish building at night.
They arrive at a shop, but the closed sign makes Quinn worry they're too late.
With a knowing smile, Cyril tells her to wait a moment.
Welcome! The doors fly open to reveal a cheerful, orange-haired man.
The tailor, Rick, welcomes them into his magnificent boutique, leaving Quinn awestruck.
Quinn stares, amazed by the splendor of the shop.
Rick proudly invites her to choose any dress, boasting he's the best tailor in the country.
Quinn asks about his enthusiasm, and Rick explains he's treating her as an honored guest out of respect for Lord Cyril.
Cyril tries to stop Rick, looking slightly embarrassed. Rick tearfully proclaims Cyril is his savior, who protected his beloved shop from ruffians.
Overjoyed, Rick declares he's waited 600 years for Cyril's return.
Quinn looks between the two men, confused by the strange reunion.
Cyril tells her not to feel pressured, and Quinn notices his uncharacteristically flustered expression.
The tailor, Rick, confidently offers his expert help in coordinating the perfect outfit. Cyril specifies that the occasion is a banquet at the royal palace.
Rick realizes it must be the Grand Prince's highly anticipated birthday banquet.
With a knowing smile, Rick asks Lord Cyril if he's personally escorting the young lady.
Quinn panics internally, realizing Rick has definitely misunderstood their relationship.
With a confident wink, Rick assures them he understands completely and guarantees their satisfaction.
Whoosh! Rick unveils Quinn in a magnificent gown, praising her perfect figure.
Rick excitedly asks the saint for his opinion on the dress.
Looking in a mirror, Quinn is startled to see Cyril behind her.
She realizes he was also made to change into a stunning matching formal suit.
Blushing, Quinn realizes with a jolt that they're wearing the couples set from the display case.
Rick proudly explains the outfits are his shop's crown jewels, made of magical Olam scales and lumina moth wings, and are a favorite style for newlyweds.
As Rick declares them a match made in heaven, Quinn inwardly cringes at the term newlyweds.
She contemplates how to decline the matching outfits without being rude.
Cyril interrupts with a stern expression, stating they should pick something else.
Rick is utterly heartbroken, asking in shock if his lord dislikes the outfit.
Quinn is secretly relieved that Cyril also finds the flashy couples set inappropriate. From across the grand boutique, Rick watches them and says he understands. To her surprise, Cyril clarifies that he doesn't want to change his outfit.
He looks Quinn over and declares her appearance acceptable.
A delighted Rick announces he will now select the perfect accessories for the lady.
As Rick presents two options, Quinn's system alerts her that the ocean blue necklace is a high rebate Divine Beast crystal shard.
She marvels at the pricelessness of the item, knowing how rare divine beasts are.
Rick praises her excellent taste, adding that the necklace possesses powerful defensive enchantments.
He points out the small cracks, explaining they might just save her life one day. Quinn immediately decides to buy it as a gift, hoping the rebate will grant her a complete crystal.
Looking out a window, she feels grateful for the spatial ring Cyril gave her for storage.
She smiles, relieved she doesn't have to hold 2 giant boxes home by hand.
Cyril informs her that he'll be heading back first.
Wait! Quinn stops him, excitedly rummaging through a box for a gift.
She presents a small, glowing red jewelry box to a bewildered Cyril.
With a bright smile, she offers him the gift. She firmly pushes the box into his hand, leaving him speechless.
Playing innocent, she looks up and asks him what's wrong. Cyril states he never expected anything in return, but sincerely thanks her. He quietly holds the small red box in his hand. Before leaving, Cyril promises that he will come to fetch her for the banquet.
Drowning in guilt, Quinn admits she gave the gift for the rebate and feels shamed by his sincerity. Ding! A system notification announces an 8,000x return, rewarding her a magic necklace, but she's disappointed by its ostentatious design. A new alert reveals the gems are divine beast crystals, activated by elemental magic.
Realizing it's a divine tier artifact, she holds it to a mirror and notices its sparkle, as if showing off.
Eager to test its effects, she puts the necklace on.
She focuses, infusing her magic into the red crystal. Roar! She's suddenly engulfed in an overwhelming aura of fire magic. Too hot, she yelps, as intense flames erupt around her, scorching the floor. A powerful blast of fire incinerates her bed in an instant. Quinn hastily deactivates the necklace as her maid, Layla, bursts in, alerted by the noise. Surveying the destruction, Lila is horrified, while Quinn sheepishly admits she might need a new bed. Holding the divine artifact, Quinn realizes with awe that she's gained another incredible power, narrowly avoiding burning down the entire room.
Quinn reflects that her life has felt surreal since losing her talents and gaining the system.
Clenching her hand, she feels the lingering power from the necklace, a realness that makes her tremble. A confident smile spreads across her face as she embraces her newfound power. The scene transitions, showing her elegant heel stepping past white roses.
1 week later, the story continues.
A gray-haired clan head sternly reminds a blue-haired miserly to uphold the Campbell family's honor at the palace, and she dutifully agrees. A blonde young man objects, questioning why Quinn, the eldest daughter, is being left behind.
The clan head scoffs, declaring that the now ordinary Quinn would only make them a laughingstock.
The young man confronts the clan head, denying he was sent by Miserly, and arguing that the decision is rash, suggesting the newly awakened Asa should go instead. The clan head dismisses the idea, calling Asa too young, and angrily orders the young man Carver to leave.
Miserly calls her cousin Carver a fool for defending Quinn, claiming Quinn gets everything effortlessly and deserves no pity, while secretly thinking Quinn's talent is irrelevant.
A woman with long pinkish hair gives Miserly a magic mirror, explaining it can reveal the true rank of anyone it reflects, bypassing any concealing artifacts. Holding the ornate glowing mirror, Miserly resolves that the truth will be revealed tonight. A confused Cheapy Carver admits he doesn't understand a word of their cryptic conversation.
Carver grows serious, questioning the clan head's judgment and noting that Miserly herself is still only an archmaid level 2.
The scene shifts to Quinn's room, where her maid finishes her hair, praising how perfectly the gown suits her.
Her maid compliments the beautiful blue accessories that match her gown.
Standing in her stunning white and blue gown, Quinn demurely tells her maid she's exaggerating. Her maid voices her concern about Quinn attending the palace, afraid that she will be bullied. Quinn holds the powerful, multicolored necklace, deciding she had better bring it along just in case. With a newfound confidence, Quinn assures her maid that no one will ever be able to bully her again. The maid looks on, touched by her lady's firm resolve.
Quinn turns and gasps in surprise at the sight of her visitor.
She finds Cyril standing before her, looking dashing in a formal blue and white suit.
She notices he's wearing the beast crystal shard she gave him, cleverly refashioned into a new accessory.
The beautiful blue crystal now adorns his cravat and sash. A cute miniaturized Quinn eagerly tells Cyril it's time to go. A blushing Cyril looks away as Quinn asks what's wrong, assuming he's used to teleporting everywhere.
Cyril smiles warmly, explaining that this time he came properly through the main gate.
He announces they will take a royal carriage as the scene reveals many lined up outside. Inside their carriage, Quinn observes how many people fought desperately for a chance to attend the banquet. Her eyes widen as she spots a familiar crest on a nearby carriage. She recognizes the crest of the Helder family and realizes Duke Helder's daughter must be attending. Quinn recalls that the Helder clan are the highest-ranking nobles, and that the Duke's frail, reclusive daughter rarely appears in public. Seeing the famous Veronica Helder, Quinn worries that a major event she's unaware of is unfolding tonight. She touches her necklace, feeling a surge of anxiety over the unexpected development. Cyril gently calls her name, breaking her from her worried thoughts. He offers her his hand with a reassuring smile. Looking at him, her worries melt away, and she smiles back. He gallantly helps her step down from the carriage. Cyril warns her to be careful in her long dress, explaining they must first meet the king privately before joining the main event. Realizing his thoughtfulness, she gratefully takes his offered arm. The two ascend the grand palace stairs together. In the throne room, the king acknowledges Quinn, noting that Cyril's choice must be extraordinary, before pointedly asking if she remembers their last encounter in the palace arena. As Cyril sits beside the throne, Quinn elegantly curtsies before the king. She respectfully answers His Majesty that she dares not forget that day. She recalls the fiery chaos of the arena, where Miserly drugged her and framed her for injuring a foreign prince. The king declares that power rules the continent and demands that Quinn prove her strength to him personally. Agreeing to his request, Quinn closes her eyes and summons her magic, a brilliant light beginning to shine from her. Her eyes snap open, glowing with golden power as she prepares to reveal her true abilities. Quinn unleashes a torrent of golden magical energy. Her immense power fills the throne room. The king recognizes her power as a golden talent, rivaling the Holy Sun's. Cyril predicts to the king that Quinn's power will one day surpass his own. The king sees her as a powerful asset for the empire's dominance. Cyril warns the king of the dangers Quinn will face and requests they train her quickly. Cyril requests palace access for Quinn's studies, but the king is hesitant to grant it. The king dismisses Quinn to discuss her future with Cyril privately. Outside, Quinn breathes a sigh of relief after the tense audience with the king. She reflects on the king's unfathomable and oppressive aura, unlike that of a mage. She ponders the strange, undefined relationship between the king and the Holy Sun. Deciding to explore, she wanders into the famed royal garden. She spots a group of noble ladies enjoying desserts and conversation nearby. Miserly, surrounded by admirers, basks in their fawning compliments. One of the ladies spots Quinn and points her out to Miserly. They sneer, questioning how an ordinary person like Quinn could attend the banquet. Quinn's good mood sours upon seeing her sister and the other ladies. A woman in green mockingly calls Quinn a former genius, now just a dunce. Miserly feigns kindness, asking the others to go easy on her sister. Quinn coolly retorts that she doesn't need talent to deal with trash like them. She dismisses her bullies, questioning if their low status even warrants entry. Enraged, the woman in green lunges forward, vowing to teach Quinn a lesson. Quinn smirks, anticipating the woman's foolish move. The woman suddenly trips and falls flat on her face.
Quinn watches impassively as the woman lies on the ground.
Miserly and her companion are stunned by the humiliating fall. Flustered, the fallen woman wonders why she tripped on flat ground. Miserly suspects Quinn used magic, but Quinn knows her power is too great to be detected.
Unable to sense any magic, Miserly questions the true extent of Quinn's power.
Miserly secretly takes out a magical mirror to expose Quinn's power. She prepares to use the artifact while her friend is still on the ground. Quinn instantly appears behind Miserly, grabbing the hand holding the hidden mirror. Taking the mirror, Quinn mocks Miserly's weak magic as Miserly realizes she can't see through Quinn's concealment. Stunned, Miserly questions if Quinn is truly just an ordinary person. Quinn dismisses the question, turning the focus back onto Miserly's schemes. She leans in close, warning Miserly to protect the stolen talent, or their father might give it away. A royal knight in golden armor arrives, informing Miss Quinn that the banquet is starting. Miserly recognizes the prestigious royal guard as Quinn agrees to be escorted.
When a woman objects, Quinn calmly orders the knight to remove the insolent nuisance.
The woman protests as the knight restrains her, much to Quinn's annoyance. As the woman struggles, Quinn knows the knight, sent by the king, must obey her. The commotion attracts the attention of Miss Helder and her maid. The knight apologizes to Miss Helder for the disturbance, citing a special mission. Miss Helder observes the scene with a thoughtful expression. Miserly notices Miss Helder's high status and a familiar but unrecognized crest. Her maid suggests they leave the scene, knowing Miss Helder dislikes such arguments. Suddenly, a system window announces a rebate-eligible item nearby, piquing Quinn's interest. Quinn thoughtfully tries to locate the source of the system alert. Her task done, Quinn looks slightly bewildered as the moment passes. Miss Helder watches Quinn depart, a look of deep intrigue on her face. A maid suggests her lady, Miss Helder, head inside before the banquet begins. Miss Helder explains she came despite her illness to see the Holy Son announce his disciple. As they walk away discussing the matter, Quinn observes them from a short distance. Quinn notes that her senses have sharpened, allowing her to overhear their conversation. She calls out to stop Miss Helder, who turns in surprise. A system prompt instructs Quinn to give health, making her think of a magic potion. A woman with long, dark purple hair in a lavender gown watches them from afar. Quinn politely explains that she overheard Miss Helder's cough and was reminded of something. She materializes a glowing blue sauna plant, offering it as a cure for her illness. Quinn recalls finding the plant, believing it's the most powerful cure she can offer.